Welcome back. It is day 285 of a road to 2200. We are at 2063, and we found somebody from Kenya, and they're playing e4, so we're going to go ahead and play the Caro-Kann, of course. And we have an exchange variation, which might go into... No, I was going to say it might go into a Panov, but it just doesn't. The knight came out here, you moron. So we're going to develop our knight. And we're going to get our bishop out, play e6. It's a pretty straightforward game, as I say pretty much every single time. They're going for this, but I believe I can just go check. No, then they go there. Wait a second. Okay, so I guess I have to play like rook c7 here. If they jump in, we're happy to give up the rook for two pieces. That is usually just a pretty good trade for whoever's giving up the rook. And now we're just going to kick the knight away because the knight does not, we don't want it there. And now we're going to go bishop d6. This is still pretty much according to how we like to play, other than we usually like to play rook b8 and go for this minority attack, but they've actually blocked in this pawn. So they can't, it's not there for me to try and undermine. But first, let's just go ahead and castle. And then we're going to go probably b5. First, we're going to take because pretty much always, pretty much, not always, but usually we're going to be taking. Also, look at this thing, chestnut move. Be on the lookout for a video of that. That board is freaking awesome. But this video will be out before you guys see the chestnut move, but that is a little spoiler there. Anyways, let's continue our game. I think we should probably still play like b5. I could even think about maybe trying to just occupy this diagonal, but I think as we know how to play the exchange, we like to play on the queen side. So let's stick to what we know. Queen usually goes to c7. This square looks very, very nice for the knights, which we can access via knight a5 and knight c4, but they can just kick us away. So if I were to go here, they're going to play like c3. No, but they can't because the knight hangs. So that could actually be a pretty good plan. We'd be forking the pawns, or well, the bishop and the pawn. My opponent's taking a thing here. Also, this is a weaker pawn, let's say. Ooh, the knight reroutes. But now I should be able to jump in, but then they're going to push, so let's not do that. Let's not do that. E5, I mean, you can always consider playing stuff like that, but I don't like playing like e5 in these positions. It weakens this pawn in the center too much. I think e5 is just a terrible move overall anyways because it loses a pawn, but you know, let's just ignore that. Now if they play c3, we're back into minority attack territory with just a simple, yeah, I mean, they play c3, but now we can just play like b4. If they push, I can just take that. It's free pawn. And they're going to start pushing, but we should be just totally fine. And of course, if they don't do anything, we're going to take, and now we have our backwards pawn. We can play knight a5, and life is pretty good. Now they're going to take with the rook, of course. Otherwise, moving the rook there was kind of pointless. But then I'll just play queen b6. But instead, they go there. Okay. So let's try to put our knight on this perfect square. They just wanted the rook behind the backwards pawn to protect it a little bit. That makes sense. Okay, so if I go here, they're going to take the pawn. I did not account for that. But I guess, like, knight here, if they take, I guess I can just play, like, rook a8. So let's actually do that. Take the pawn, I get rook a8, and then I'm infiltrating. Also, your queen is just, like, almost stuck. Actually, if you take rook here, the only square you have is b5, and then rook b8, I think, just traps your queen. Yeah, my opponent sees that. So I'm going to now bring my queen and just protect the pawn. Gotta be careful of tactics here. If there were a knight being able to take this, wouldn't be so hot. Okay, they want to double up. This isn't entirely going how I want it to go. I could maybe reroute the knight back. I don't want to go here because then they take... I guess I could take with the queen. Or maybe this is one of those times where now e5 is gonna be a good move. Takes, bishop takes, we put some pressure. I can't convince myself that that's a good move. I think we just bring our other rook and then capture. If pawn takes, then what? Or actually, I can just push the pawn. So if rook takes, queen takes. This is all lodged in there. We should be okay. Having the rook on a8 was too passive, I think. Maybe we should have just pushed the pawn to start. I do like the prospect of bringing the knight around, but just because the knights hold each other. But I don't see how I can really get any further in. Yes, they're attacking this. But it doesn't really matter, I don't think. Let's start bringing our other knight. Pushing doesn't do anything. We need to keep this nice and structured. We're down on the clock slightly. I don't entirely love. It's okay. If we could... If this knight ever moves, if they try to move the knight, I can win this pawn. Which is very nice. So it's just kind of a waiting game for them to do something. Because if they move the knight, I take, and then take the pawn. So they can't do that. If the bishop moves off of this, I can maybe just jump the knight in here. I could also have ideas of like, oh, they just trade this? Because the knight hangs. If I take with the queen, so after rook takes, I have to take with the knight. Gotta be very cautious there. And now they either have to retreat off of this diagonal, or this file, and just give me full access to it, or start trading all the pieces. And I think we're doing okay here. That is what I think. Queen is protecting. Its pawn is weak. Okay, so I can take pawn takes and then take this pawn takes, and that would be very nice. So I'm going to now capture. And we're just winning this pawn. Boom. Now we're up a pawn. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we were just better the entire game. We got everything we wanted, and then we blundered checkmate in one. We just got this beautiful minority attack position. Yeah, okay, so instead of rook a8, I should have just played a5 right off the gate. Here we should have just took. No. Let's play another one. Oh no. That is so sad. Oopsies. Tunnel vision. 3 pawn, but you lose your king. Okay, d3. We're just going to play on principle. Pawns in the center. You know what? Go ahead. Bring out your knight, and I will go all the way back. I could have actually probably played, like, some piece here. I don't know. We're going to just develop our knights, and I'm going to try and play this like a Grand Prix style. If they damage my pawn structure, I don't care. Because we're just going to attack and win this. Like, just watch. If this Mr. 2111 wants to take and double my pawns, you just watch and wait. Yeah. Alright, so they're going for it. But that was actually their first mistake. Let's develop a bishop here. And you just wait. If they castle their king, I'm going to go f4. And now I could potentially take, and then this diagonal is going to be very weak. I don't know if that actually matters, and I don't know why I'm speaking like that. My apologies, sir. Okay, they just decided to go back. I'm actually not going to take. I'm gonna let them take me. Well, yeah, if they want to take, like, go ahead. That would be very, very ugly for them. So now I'm just going to castle. And maybe just put my bishop in here. Because, yeah, bishop in here. 100%. Now, I just want to make sure that we don't let this come in and it be very good. So I'm thinking I just want to play, like, here. Just play h6, stopping this. I don't care if they win the pawn, but my plan is actually to play, like, queen e8 and then go here and here or something along those lines. Queen comes in. Queen e8, we protect the pawn, but that's not the important part. The important part is that I want to come in here. Okay, they're attacking my pieces, but little did they know, I don't care. We're going to play queen to h5. Now, if they take, I'll probably take with the rook, but I guess they could take here first. Okay, yeah, I'm going to take with the rook. Then they're going to take the pawn, and I'm going to bring my other rook. And this should be relatively good. Now there's tactics lining up here. Starting to get a little bit fun. You cannot move this. And I don't think I'm ever... I don't think I ever want to take here. We're just down a pawn, but bear with me. So if I could, no, it's never gonna work out that way. It'll never work out that way, unfortunately. But maybe we're gonna get ballsy and just like push the pawns. But I don't want my bishop here if I push the pawn, because then the bishop's going to get trapped in there, and it looks nice, but I don't think it actually is. Unless I go like something like this. Sack the bishop, come in, checkmate. But there's a queen there too, so... I don't know. I'm playing this like it's a bullet game. Don't ask me why, but I am. It's because I was playing bullet, of course, but you know, it's okay. We just have a good time. Okay, the queen goes back, so they don't want me to push my pawn. I understand. I do indeed understand. They didn't like the idea of any discovered attacks, I guess. I really am tempted to push the pawn. I'm going to just start pushing my g-pawn, try to kick away at this king. Everything down here is kind of just protected. I guess if here the knight can just jump in. Maybe I don't want that. Definitely don't want that. So maybe at some point I need to take here. Okay, they're trying to win pawns. I don't think that's the way. So what if I capture whatever they take with, then I can go here. Because after takes, after push, if the knight moves, I can just take this. And if this pawn wasn't there, I could actually... No, I can't actually go there. Because there's two rooks, but Okay, let's start with push. Or with takes. Yes. And now I'm thinking G4. Just with the simple idea that there could be back rank problems if they decided to take and take. So let's actually do that. Let's play G4. They're gonna go knight in. For sure. And now I can just infiltrate. Maybe bring the queen back. Actually, I could play queen back now. And then I'm threatening to sack everything. So let's play queen back. The threat is check here, and checkmate. So I have the Ali Ekins gun with the threat of checkmate. I also have this check. Oh, wait a second. And they can't take. They would have to block with this. So this check actually might come in clutch. Because after this, I could push, deflecting a piece off of the back rank if they try to protect this using the queen, of course. And if they go here, I just play this. Wait a second. They're offering a queen trade, but I actually just sack the rook. Rook takes, I sack the queen. Never mind. It is pinned, but I've got this cheeky little check. If the queen takes, we just do that. If they block, I just take. If they block here, I just take. Rook takes. And then take the queen. Because if rook or pawn takes, then we can take. So we can actually sacrifice the bishop here. They have to go to the corner. Does this even work? I don't know if this works. I don't think it works. Like, I think they just move the king. Because the queen is pinned, so it doesn't do anything. Takes, pawn takes. I mean, then I guess I can just like come in with the bishop. I have to trade queens though. There's no getting around that, unfortunately. And we're just down a pawn and potentially two. So I guess let's see what my opponent does. They are using a lot of time though. And you know what that tells me? Potential flag. Because if we're only down a pawn or two and they have significantly less time, if we keep both rooks on the board, we might be okay. Yeah, so they do find that move. And now, I mean, I can play bishop here. I could take pawn takes. I don't know if I want to play bishop back. Okay, we have to trade queens. Have to. They cannot take with the rook. They have to take with the pawn. I guess I could just go here. I don't want to trade. Their pieces are kind of like just stuck. Can't really do a whole lot. Okay, let's just put our bishop on a great square. We attack this pawn. We always have the threat of sacking if they move the rook off the back rank. They can always take these pawns, but it's fine. I'm just gonna solidify everything. You can't even play this because I just take it. But we have to be careful because at some moment they might be able to take it. But at a certain time, like, you're gonna run out of moves. Or at least it's going to seem like that. Yeah, but I just take it. You can't go here because I sack the rook. So now you have to move the rook somewheres, and I just play bishop back. And now we're not even down a pawn, and your pieces are so restricted. Okay, bishop in. If I take, they take. But I guess now we can just, like, just infiltrate. And actually, maybe I could have just took here. I think we just attack the bishop. Just always keep this threat of checkmate is what I want. Like, I don't want this bishop. I want the threat of checkmate to stay. Yeah, now I'm just going to put my bishop back. Your bishop is now under attack. And I can start bringing both of my rooks in potentially. Because not only is... Yeah, wait. We just take. And then we're going to be playing rook f2. I don't care if you take. I'm playing rook f2. If you take, check, king here, and then check. Or here, here, here. How do you stop check, king here? Oh, there's a knight there, so actually it's a problem. Okay, I guess I'll actually trade the bishops and then just bring my rook back here, threatening checkmate again. So you can't take the pawn. Throw in a check, king up. And now you're down to a minute. Check, just king up though. You have no checks. This knight sucks. Oh, what just happened? Refreshed. Okay, yeah, they go all the way back, and now I'm going to start pushing the A pawn. I just need to play quick. That is what I want. I just want to play quick and really try to hammer in. No, I don't really want to push. Okay, let's maybe now play A4. Depending on what they do, of course. Rook here. I'd probably just get behind the pawn and then try to play for like rook b2. But we've really done a good job of playing the clock here. Attack my pawn. Now let's take here. This is now protected. Check, king up. We attack both pieces though. Take. Check, just king moves. Okay, we gotta do that. I'm not gonna get ladder mated there. That would be pretty unfortunate. Now, I blundered a fork. Wonderful stuff. They don't have enough time to do this though. Or do they? I don't think they have enough time. They can get a draw if they just go for the pawn. No! Oh, I needed to get in there. Wait, can they get... Are they going to get a win? Oh my gosh. That was like the biggest throw of all time. All I needed to do was like protect the pawn, and then I think they would have been quite upset. But we played two brilliant moves here, and we were just completely winning. But we needed to just be patient and not take the pawn, just kind of stick around. If they take, I can just take because there's no rook takes. So here's kind of what they should do. And then I get behind the pawn, bishop back, and then I can start pushing this pawn. And I actually blundered mate with this. So, I mean, I can't be too upset. That is insane, man. Oh, okay. Well, props to my opponents. We had a pretty weird game here. It was like in English, but they just gave me like a giant attack. I told you I was going to win and attack my opponent, and we did do that. We found a couple brilliant moves. We attacked. The opponent was resilient, and here we should have just played bishop e3. But I thought, you know, they can't just push the pawn because then we can sack. And then here, apparently we should just trade into this. Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Because if they get into this, I mean, we're just winning. But, yeah, we take the pawn, which is winning, but we needed to just come back. But I thought that this was bad for us. But apparently they play knight back and then rook in. Once again, we always have this threat. Knight comes here. We start, I don't know. They start trading. I don't think the human's going to trade or give up the pawn, but yeah, this is quite sad. Not going to lie. And we blundered mate, but then we blundered a fork. Which is, if we didn't blunder the fork, we would have been fine. Because we would have just had enough material to flag, but we blundered the fork, and then here was the next spot, which was here. We should have maybe just went forward. But I guess then there's like discovered check, and they're going to get the pawn regardless. So I guess we probably would have just drew the game regardless. But still, that sucks, man. That sucks. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.